In the quiet Dutch town of Leeuwarden, a baby girl was born on August 7th, 1876, into what seemed like a promising future. Her name was Margrethe Geertruide Zelle. Her father was a prosperous hatter and investor who spoiled his daughter with luxury, calling her the little princess. But wealth and happiness are often fleeting. When Margrethe was still a child, her father lost his fortune and her mother died soon after. The family fell apart and she was sent to live with relatives. The fall from grace was sharp and painful, but Margrethe was strong-willed and imaginative. She had a gift for reinvention, one that would define her entire life. Just 18, Margrethe responded to a newspaper ad placed by a Dutch army officer, Rudolf MacLeod, who was seeking a wife. The marriage was her ticket out. She became the wife of a military man and soon left for Java in the Dutch East Indies, now Indonesia, where he was stationed. At first it seemed like a dream, a new world full of strange beauty. But the marriage was brutal. MacLeod was a drinker, abusive and unfaithful. The couple had 2 children, but tragedy struck. Their son died under suspicious circumstances, likely poisoned by a disgruntled servant. Their marriage collapsed, and Margrethe returned to Europe with her daughter, whom MacLeod later took away from her permanently. Alone and heartbroken, Margrethe began a transformation. In Paris, the city of lights and illusions, Margrethe became Mata Hari, a name she claimed meant Eye of the Day in Malay. She fashioned a story that she was a Javanese temple dancer, trained in the ancient arts of sacred erotic dance. It was a lie, but Paris welcomed it with open arms. Mata Hari danced barefoot and bare-breasted, adorned in jewels and silks. Her performances were sensual, mysterious, and unlike anything the Parisian elite had seen. She danced for diplomats, generals, and royalty. Men fell at her feet. She became a courtesan, mingling with powerful men across Europe, Germany, France, Russia. But beneath the silks and smiles was a woman playing a dangerous game. As World War I erupted, Mata Hari's lovers became enemies. She moved across borders, slept with men from both sides of the conflict, and travelled freely in a time when few could. Her movements caught the eye of French and German intelligence. In 1916, desperate for money and access to her Russian lover, a wounded pilot she wanted to join, Mata Hari agreed to spy for France. But she was already on the radar. France believed she was working for Germany as Agent H-21. According to German records discovered later, she may have passed on some trivial information to the Germans. But it's still unclear whether she was a double agent or simply a woman used by both sides and discarded when it suited them. In February 1917, Mata Hari was arrested in Paris and charged with espionage. Her trial was a farce, heavy on scandal and light on evidence. The prosecution painted her as a dangerous seductress, using her body to betray France. She denied it all. But the war was going badly. France needed a scapegoat. On October 15, 1917, Mata Hari stood before a firing squad at Fort de Vincennes. Dressed in a tailored coat, she refused a blindfold. Legend has it she blew a kiss to the soldiers before they fired. She was 41 years old. After her death, her body was dissected and used for medical research. No one claimed her remains. Her possessions were auctioned off, her name written into legend. In the decades since, Mata Hari has been portrayed in films, novels, ballets, and biographies as a seductress, spy, scapegoat, and tragic heroine. Historians now believe that she may have been more naive than dangerous, more performer than agent, and ultimately a victim of a world that used and destroyed women like her. Mata Hari lived in a time when a woman's beauty could be both her power and her doom. She danced to survive, lied to stay free, and loved unwisely. Whether she was truly a spy or not may never be fully known. But she remains an unforgettable figure, a woman who turned herself into a legend and died because of it.